Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of Build Your Difference. My name is Pierre Walters, co-founder of Brand Desk, where we work directly with visionaries to help build incredible brands. Now, visionaries don't just start at the top. They have to build themselves up. In fact, most great brands start with just an idea. So if you're ready to build your own personal brand and all you have is just an idea, then this episode might be for you. Today, we're discussing how you can build your personal brand. So let's get started. What are the benefits of building your personal brand? Well, I've got them listed for you, and I want to take you through each one step by step. The first benefit is when you build a personal brand, you are going to begin establishing a sense of trust and authority in your audience. And that's a really crucial element, because once you get your audience to trust you through reliable interactions and coming through on what you say you're going to do and whatever it is that your service is, then you're going to begin to build a repeat business. You're going to begin earning that trust with your customers and establishing yourself in their world as an authority, which is an absolutely incredible place to be. That's where you want to be. That's sort of the goal. Now, the next thing is getting featured in media. So when you're building a personal brand and when you take the time and the energy and the effort to really put together something that speaks to your own difference in the marketplace, then you're going to also begin to attract people who are looking for something different. All right. So you're going to begin to attract people who are in media, television, newspapers, radio, blogs, other podcasts. You're going to begin to attract these other platforms because they're looking to feature businesses like yours, people like you, entrepreneurs like you who are doing something just a little bit different. And that's a really important place to be because you can really leverage that into an incredible source of lead generation for your business. Now, building your network is sort of a natural consequence of taking the time to build your brand. As your brand becomes further defined, and as your sense of uniqueness, what makes you different, is easy to understand and easy to identify, then you know what, your network is going to sort of expand. It's going to increase. And what I love about this is that my sort of rule of thumb is that for as many people as we interact with, 10% you can pretty realistically assume will be able to convert to customers. So if you expand that network and bring in more people or connect with more people, 10% of all of those people that you connect with will most likely convert and become customers of your business. A lot of times people are confused. They say, "My goodness, I don't know how to get myself out there. I don't know how to market my business." Well, if you just spend the time investing in your brand and expanding your network, you're going to naturally build your business because you're going to be exposing your business to more and more people. And of the people that you expose your business to, remember, I always say you can rely on about 10% to actually convert and to give you a chance as a customer. Now, naturally, this means that the wider your network, the more people you will begin to attract. All right, the more customers you'll begin to attract. And that's a very, very important place to be. It's a powerful place to be. Last, premium pricing and creating a lasting platform. So as you have established your brand as a unique proposition, a unique value-oriented service that is really bringing something different to the marketplace, whether it's the same kind of service but in your own unique way, if people can find a way to kind of remember you and remember what sets you apart and what makes you different, then guess what? All right, you're going to be in what we call a niche. And when you're in a niche, you can command premium pricing because there's no one else that's going to do it like you. When you're a commodity, you have to kind of price yourself in such a way where you're competitive against other people who are doing exactly the same thing as you are, which means, for lack of a better term, it's a race to the bottom. I mean, everyone's lowering their price. Everyone's trying to have a lower price than the competitor, which means it's just a race to the bottom. Yet eventually, you're going to be charging $0 for what you do, and you don't want to do that. So if you can establish yourself as something unique in the marketplace, as something unique as a brand, then you're going to be a niche. And as a niche, operating in a niche, you will have the luxury of charging what you need to charge so that you can stay in business and so that your customers feel that they are getting great value for their investment that they're willing to make in you and in your business. Now, all of this comes together and helps you to create a lasting platform. That's one of the things that I think is just really, at the end of the day, the number one most important reason to establish your own personal brand. And that is to have a lasting platform. Listen, we're not all going to be here forever and ever and ever. You know, at some point we have to gracefully exit the stage. At some point we have to, hand the baton to the next generation. And the question is, with your business, if you haven't spent the time and energy to invest in your brand, then what's going to happen when you're gone? Does your brand live beyond you? Did you invest and establish your business in such a way where when it's time for you to step down, there are others who have invested in your way of doing things and providing your unique service proposition so that they can kind of take that mantle and keep things going? What's the legacy? What is the legacy of your business, of your brand as an entrepreneur? And that means that you gotta take a step out of your comfort zone and say, you know what, this is not just about me. This is about what is the legacy that I'm leaving after me, okay, or beyond me. Some business people will talk very highly about the idea of starting a business with the sole intent of selling it. Okay, so I'm going to start a business, I'm going to build it up to a certain degree, and then I'm going to sell it. Well, and by all means, if that's your prerogative, that's your prerogative. But what I want to say is, beyond just selling your business, sometimes making sure that it's properly prepared to be handed to the next generation so that other staff members can come in and kind of pick up where you left off, so that leadership can continue and the service to your customers can also continue. I think that's a very, very powerful place to be. And I think that's a place where we all really should focus. So when you spend the time to invest and build your personal brand, what you're really doing is laying the stones in place or laying the foundation in place for your legacy. Now, how do you do this? How do you actually go about the process of building your own personal brand? Well, let's break it down into 3 easy steps. Step number 1 is you need to focus on building your foundation. Now, this is what I was just saying in terms of laying down the foundation to build that legacy and to build that platform. Well, you got to lay that foundation to build your brand. Step number 2 is choosing your target audience. Who do we want to buy our services? Who is the person that I am reaching out to and saying, hey, listen, I think you'd be a great customer for what I have to offer. And guess what? I think that my service is going to be a great service for what it is that you need. So who is that target audience? And you got to really get specific with it. It can't just be everyone. All right. That's an absolutely critical mistake because no service is for everyone. All right. I mean, even Amazon, and I don't know that I should really use them as an example, but even Amazon isn't for everyone. No service is for everyone. You got to really decide and really sort of pinpoint exactly who is my target audience, because whoever that individual is, the more specific you can be for that individual, well, guess what? The more specific they can be for you too. And they can look at you as a niche. We'll come back to that. Remember that was what I spoke about a little bit earlier. And last but not least, we want to create an irresistible offer. Okay, and I'm going to dig into that. So we want to build a foundation, we want to choose our target audience, and then we want to create an irresistible offer. Now let's dive a little bit into building that foundation, okay? How do you do that? How do you build a foundation for your brand? Well, what are your current skills and passions? What is it that you actually like? What is it that sort of gets you energized about showing up to work, about leading your business? What is it about what you do that gets you jazzed and excited? Okay, that's something you got to think about. Now, once you have identified what it is that sort of motivates you to keep going and to offer your business and your service to the world, then what is your mission? What is your vision? Now, let's just talk about that real quick. A mission statement is how you execute your vision. So your vision is how you want the world to be if your service or your mission is successful. Okay, so for example, at Brand Desk, our vision is to see a world where everyone is empowered and visionaries are empowered to build their difference. Now, how do we do that? What's our mission statement? Well, our mission statement is to help visionary people build impressive brands. Okay? So think about that. Think about your vision and your mission. Now, once you understand your vision and your mission, then think about your message. What is the message you want to communicate to your audience? The message that I often say we want to communicate is that your vision is possible, and here are the tools to make it happen. That's the message. That's the message that we want to communicate. So what is the message you want to communicate to your audience? And last, what is your personality? What is the personality of your brand? What is the tone? You know, and this you can just look at yourself. I mean, if you look at your own interactions with your customers, think about how do I best engage with customers? Am I sort of straight, forward? Am I to the point? Am I concise? Am I funny? Do I joke around a lot? Am I very analytical? Just think about your sort of personality and how you can build that into your entire brand experience for your customer. Now, once you understand your mission, your vision, the message that you want to communicate, and the personality of your brand, then we got to really hone in on that target audience. And this is what I want to say in terms of a target audience, okay? Because we can get real specific with it. You can break it down in terms of, demographics. You can break it down in terms of income, household income. But really, at the end of the day, your audience is the group of people who want what you have to offer. Okay, that means what they don't have is what you have. Okay, and we'll dive into that a little bit later after the break. But I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break, and I want you to stay with us because we're going to learn more about how you can build your own personal brand as soon as we come back.
Here we are, 2013. We all depend on technology to communicate, to bank, and none of us know how to read and write code.
The first program I wrote asked things like, what's your favorite color? Or how old are you?
I wrote a program to play tic-tac-toe.
I first learned how to make a green circle and a red square appear on the screen.
You're just trying to make something, trying to transfer something from your mind to the computer or to a tablet. It's an experience.
The whole limit in the system is just that there just aren't enough people who are trained and have these skills today.
The programmers of tomorrow are the wizards of the future. You're going to look like you have magic powers compared to everybody else.
Great coders are today's rock stars. That's it.
Welcome back to Skills to Pay the Bills and this segment of Build Your Difference. Today, we're discussing the steps to take to build your very own personal brand. Now, so far, we've discussed understanding your own skills, your own motivation to show up to work and to invest in your own business. Then we talked a little bit about establishing your vision. How do you want to see the world? What does the world look like when customers are using your service? Then your mission. How are you going to go about engaging customers and getting them to that vision. Okay, that's what the mission statement is. Then we talked about your message, understanding what is the core message that we want to communicate to our target audience. And last but not least is the personality of the brand. That's kind of the tone. How are we going to go about doing this? What do we feel like? What do we sound like? Are we funny? Are we analytical? That is the personality of your brand. Now, the next component is your target audience. All right. Who is your target audience? In fact, how do you define your target audience? And just before the break, I was suggesting that you don't dig into some of these sort of abstract filters like household income or other forms of demographics that you might typically find if you're running an ad on Facebook or something like that. Instead, to think more about who are the group of people, okay, besides budget, besides, their income stream or how big or small their company is, who are the group of people that simply need what it is that you have to offer, all right? And I don't just mean in terms of the service, but also the way that you offer it. All right. For example, at Brand Desk, one of the things we're so keen on is ensuring that our customers feel confident, that we are providing a solution that makes customers feel confident about building their own brand. So that means that our target audience are going to be customers that aren't quite satisfied with some of the other tools that they've experienced online or in the marketplace. Maybe they're not quite satisfied. Maybe they haven't found the right fit. Maybe they're not totally confident in what's out there. We want to bring that sense of confidence through our service to the customer. So what is that sort of core element that you have to offer and the way that you're offering it that your customers don't have? Because people buy what they don't have. People don't buy what they already have, they buy what they don't have. So if you can sort of set yourself and establish yourself as this is who we are, this is how we do it, then you're going to attract the people who are looking specifically for that. Okay? Very, very important. So one of the things I like to do is talk about when it comes to a target audience is who is not your client. Okay? Not just who is, but who actually is not your client. Who are the people that your service is just not for, okay? And why is it not for them? Think about those details, all right? Is it location specific? Is there a budgetary constraint? Is there a personality kind of mismatch? Who is your product and service not for? Very important that you think about that because by definition or by process of elimination, or you're going to determine who your product actually is for. So who actually needs you, okay? Remember, need. You are offering something that people need. So who needs what you have to offer and the way that you're offering it? And why? Why do they need you? Very important to think about that. Why? Not just, in our case, it's not just that we want people who are building brands, but we want people who are motivated, okay? We want people who have a vision for their brand that is large, that is multifaceted, has many different components, books, videos, podcasts. I mean, the people who want to engage with their audience in a multifaceted way. Those are the people that we're looking to really attract. And so you got to think about that for your service and for your brand. Why does your audience need you per se? Okay. And then what are their pain points? What are some of the things that they've experienced elsewhere that you're specifically going to alleviate? Okay. For example, pricing. Have they been priced out by other vendors or by other service providers? And do you offer payment plans or ways to make products and services more accessible? If so, that's a very clear solution to a very clear pain point. So you want to think about the pain points of the customer and how you're going to specifically alleviate that. What are their desires? And so that's beyond just you successfully providing your service for that particular customer, but what is their long-term vision? What is it that they are trying to build? What's their vision for their own audience? How do they see the world? If they're successful, if their business grows the way they want it to grow, what are their desires? When you can sort of be clear about that, when you can help to define that, then guess what? Okay, you're in a good position to help attract people who are looking for that particular solution. What are their aspirations? Think about that. Okay, your target audience. What is it that they aspire to build? What is it that they aspire to be? Okay, in terms of their business. And if you can speak to that, if you can say, hey, I am uniquely positioned to be able to help you achieve your desire and your aspirations. I'm uniquely capable of helping you to achieve what it is that you are envisioning, okay? All the different components of it, I'm uniquely capable. I'm the one who's gonna help you get from where you are to where you wanna be, okay? Now, once you have established and identified your target audience, the last component to building a successful brand is to create an irresistible offer. How do you do that? How do you create an irresistible offer? Well, I follow a formula because, you know, that's how I operate, okay? That's how things work best for me. And here's the formula. I'm going to give it to you right now, completely no cost. The formula is this: what you love to do plus what you do best plus what your audience wants most. So, what you love to do plus what you do best plus what your audience wants the most. When you add those three components together, you get an irresistible offer. I'm going to tell you a quick anecdote. When we launched Brand Desk, we had a lot of customers with whom we've helped establish their website on other services like Squarespace and Wix. And I think Weebly is another one, and WordPress. So Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, and Weebly. And so for the past 10 or so years, 5 to 8, 9, 10 years, we had successfully helped other customers establish their online presence on those platforms. And they were happy. But when we launched Brand Desk, we also launched with our own dedicated online platform, our own competitor to Squarespace and Weebly and WordPress and Wix. And so we had a challenge. The challenge was, how can we encourage our customers to move their websites from platforms that we helped build them on, like Squarespace, over to our own Brand Desk hosting platform. And that was a real challenge because the customers were already happy, and we had to find a way to create an irresistible offer. So I thought about the pain points. I said, okay, well, what are the big pain points that would prevent someone from moving a site that they love on a service like Squarespace or Wix or Weebly or WordPress over to a service that they don't really have any experience with, Brand Desk hosting? Well, I discovered that one pain point would be the cost of migration itself. All right, the actual labor involved with bringing over, with looking at an existing website and then rebuilding it pixel by pixel, so to speak, on an entirely new platform. But the second thing was establishing a sense of trust, establishing a sense of, hey, you know what? This is going to be a good long-term experience. This is not a fly-by-night situation. Okay, so a sense of trust that you're going to be there, that the platform is going to it's not going to go down. They're going to have unique features and opportunities that they don't get elsewhere. And the third thing, so we've got the cost, we've got a sense of trust, and the third thing I really thought hard about was a sense of convenience. Okay, what is inconvenient about some of these other services? Well, I'm going to give you a quick example because I had to really like dig down to the nitty-gritty here. One example is I love services like Squarespace. And one time I was building a website for myself actually on Squarespace, and I had constructed an entire page for it was probably my about page or something like that for my website, and something happened right when I was at the tail end of constructing that page, and my internet went out. I mean, it just stopped working. So I had to go and reboot the router. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but every now and again, once in a blue moon, my internet will just stop working for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't know if that's a Verizon thing or whoever, but it just stops working. So I had to reboot the router. I had to sign back into the internet. I had to go back to Squarespace. I had to go back to that page that I had been working all day building. And guess what? It wasn't there. It wasn't there. And so hours and hours of work that I had spent on that day building this page were not saved, were not stored, and there was no way to restore it. I contacted customer support. There was no way to restore it. It simply was not saved. And so now that is a big pain point, a big pain point. And so one of the things I said when I was helping to migrate or introduce customers and ask them to migrate over to Brand Desk Hosting was, listen, has this ever happened to you? Because on Brand Desk Hosting, we're going to save every single thing you do every single time you do it, regardless of whether you publish your site or not, regardless of whether or not you have an internet outage or not. Every single thing you do is always saved at the moment you do it. So long story short, I had to go through all those pain points, okay? I had to, in terms of the pricing, I said, you know what, we're not even going to charge for it, it's going to be free. So don't even worry about it. No cost for the migration, it's going to be free, number one. Number two, trust. You trust us in all these other areas. You trust us with publishing. You trust us with your podcasting. You trust us with your marketing. You trust us with your business branding, your videos and your commercials. Well, trust us with your website too. Why not? Okay, because we've come through you on this end, and now we're going to come through you here as well. It's not going to cost you anything. Plus, you're going to get the added benefit of no more of these hard work on your website only for the whole thing to get lost. Okay, so what are your customer pain points, and how can you resolve those pain points? And in doing so, you create an irresistible offer. So our irresistible offer, free migration. And guess what? It's been a hit. So listen, I hope that this has been very helpful for you today. I'm just sharing a lot of the tips that have really worked for me in building a brand. And I just want to say that, look, we're excited, okay? We are really excited about the surge in entrepreneurship that's happening across the country and right here in our local community. And if you're just beginning, I want you to remember that building your own personal brand is as simple as this. Establish a service that people need. Make it available to them using your own creative approach. And as always, don't forget the words of author Octavia Butler. It's amazing what we can do if we simply refuse to give up.